Hey everyone, how are you doing? I just wanted to check in and see what you've been doing lately. So shout it out. What have you been doing? Awesome. We've been doing some finger puppets and some blanket forts and some puzzles and some coloring and playing in the backyard. Although this week hasn't been quite as nice as last week, has it? Anyway, I hope you're not driving your parents crazy, and I'm praying that your time at home is just really special and sweet and fun for your family. I wanted to send you a couple videos today of just some ways that you can continue to grow in your faith and learn more about God. And so I have an activity and I have a challenge for you, okay? So let's start with the activity. Who can tell me what this is? Anyone? Awesome. The Wordless book. So probably about a month ago, I went around to all the classrooms, preschool to 5th, and I taught a lesson on the Wordless book. I read a story about Madugu, and we talked about this Wordless book, which is it's just colors. There's no words in it. And we made some bracelets and some gospel caterpillars. So if you were there that day, raise your hand. Very good. Now, if you weren't there that day, I'm sorry, but you can still participate in our activity because let's see if I can find it. I scanned this little book for you and I attached it to this email. So have your parents look for it. And it goes over in detail, well, not in detail, but it goes over each color and just kind of what each color is all about and a verse that goes with it. And so you and your mom and dad can go through this booklet and kind of read through it, and hopefully you get a good idea of what the Wordless book is all about. Anyway, before we get started on the activity, I just wanted to quiz you and see if you remember what all these colors mean. Okay, so it starts with green, but we don't actually start with green. So let's find the first page here. Here we go. The first color is gold. Very good. And what does gold mean or stand for? Call it out. Okay. It stands for God. Who is God? And it reminds us of heaven, the streets of gold in heaven. And that is where God lives. But there's one thing that cannot live in heaven, and that is what? Sin. And we are all sinners. We're just born that way. We have this sinful heart, and we can't go to heaven because of that. So that's a problem. But God made a way for us to go to heaven by sending Jesus. And the red reminds us of Jesus and his blood because he came to the earth as a baby. He lived a perfect life, and he died on the cross for our sins. And if we believe in him and we confess our sins, then we can have our sins washed as white as snow. And we can start a relationship with him, and we can go to heaven someday. So that's pretty good news, huh? And then the last color is our cover, and our back and front cover is green. And once we have believed in Jesus, he wants us to grow. He wants us to go to church. He wants us to read our Bible and pray, tell others about him, obey him. And that's how we can grow in our faith with Jesus. So that's kind of a quick overview of the Wordless book. But the other day when I came to your classroom and did this, a lot of you were kind of hoping that we'd make a Wordless book, and we didn't. So that is my activity for you today, is sometime this week, if you want to, you can make your own Wordless book. And I actually did one this morning with my daughter, and we just got some 5 pieces of paper together, and we stapled them and we colored them gold, black, red, white. Didn't have to do anything with that one, which was nice. And then green, okay? You can make it whatever size you want, okay? If you want to make a big one with big pieces of paper, just get 5 big pieces of paper, staple them together, but you're going to have to color all that. So remember that, okay? You could even do a smaller one. Doesn't really matter. You just want 5 pieces of paper that are the same size that you can staple together. I actually took this paper and I folded it and then I cut it, and I actually got 4 squares, rectangles out of this, and then I had to get another piece of paper because I need 5 total. So you can make it however big or little you want. If you don't have stapler at home, you could glue it together, or you could punch holes and do like string or yarn or something. So be creative. And then when you're done, you can practice telling the story of the Wordless book. You can tell it to your brother, sister, mom, dad. You could FaceTime with your grandma or a friend and tell them all about it. The other thing I included on this email is a link to the Wordless book song. So if you are in preschool to first grade, Charity has been teaching you that song, and maybe in K-Rock, I'm not sure. And it's pretty fun, and it kind of just reminds us of what the colors mean. So you can go ahead and listen to that if you want, and just kind of remind yourself of what this is all about. And then the next thing I have for you is a challenge. So if you want to scroll down and watch the next video, you can find out what that's all about. Thanks.